Oh, right. My apologies on that way. So we are gonna start off the stream with, with, some, we're gonna start off the stream watching a video real quick, which I know isn't something I typically do. Or I haven't done it in a while, let me say that. And so it seems Destiny, for those of you that don't know, Destiny is a political streamer, and Destiny is having a discussion with XQC on. He's had a discussion with XQC because somebody said like the F slur in one of his streams, like one of the people he's playing with, and I guess XQC was having a discussion with Destiny about it, and Sneako jumped in at some point, and I was really curious to see what happened with this because I know Sneako and Destiny's bridge has been burned for quite a while, so we're gonna kind of just jump into it. I jumped ahead to where Sneako joins, because I'm sure this whole section is probably pretty interesting, but I mostly care about the Sneako stuff, so I'm kind of curious how this is gonna end up here. But we're gonna jump into it.
For based on what they've said in the game.
Also,
So,
let me know how the audio is.
where I draw the line is that if you know or you don't know, you're just shooting random bullets. Usually it's gonna find. That's why a lot of times people don't understand. Like, oh, dude, don't call people broke. A lot of times like, well,
Yeah, but
I
understand what
know
you're saying.
this
Hold on, that's
person.
your perspective. His perspective is that like, well, as long as you're not the actual thing that he's insulting you for, then it's not that big of a deal. That's his perspective. That like, well, it's not really. I can't be homophobic against you if you're not gay. Like, so
Well,
whatever.
no, it's intention based. That's how I see it.
But even for intent,
based.
it's not just intention. It's a difference in application because he'll say that even if the intention, he'll say that the intention is determined by knowing whether or not you're actually gay. Because he's saying that if he knew you were gay, he wouldn't say the word, right? So he's saying that he would change it based on the intention, right?
Well, I feel like intention is drawn when you put the pretext behind it. That's why I was saying it. With the preface of like, oh, dude, I see the clip. I whatever, like you're kissing dudes. I think the intent is drawn there. Like, am I delusional here or like?
No, what are you talking about? So is it intention of the word? Because
Who the fuck just joined, cut?
clearly Cuffham does not hate gay people. So is it the word or the intention?
Why do we say clear? There's nothing clear about that. How do we know that?
He just said he doesn't hate gay people.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're already into this. So first of all, a couple things. I kind of agree with both sides on this. That like the intention definitely matters. But also, you know, you probably shouldn't be saying shouldn't be saying slurs on stream. Like everybody has their edgy words they say off stream, right? That like has their edgy words they say off stream that they probably shouldn't say. Like it's probably really edgy, but like you're still not gonna say those on stream. So saying those on stream is a whole different thing. But also at the same time, yes, the intention definitely matters. And then what did Sneako say? I was about to say something.
There's nothing clear about
Cuffham does not.
Oh
hate
yes,
gay
that.
people.
So I'm sorry, but like it has never been a thing that like just because somebody says they're not racist, that doesn't make them automatically not racist. Like you know what I mean? Like just because you say you're not a thing doesn't necessarily mean that you're not that thing. That's why there's like, you know, the joke of, oh, I have a gay friend, so I'm not homophobic. You know what I mean? It's wild. I already know some bullshit. I know. I can feel it in my bones. This man, Seeka's about to say some of the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life.
People. So is it the word or the intention?
Why do we say clear? There's nothing clear about that. How do we know that?
He just said he doesn't hate gay people.
That's what I'm saying. I have
Wait,
a
if
gay
somebody
brother.
says they don't hate gay people, that means they don't hate gay people? Since when has that ever been the standard by which we determine somebody's, like, feelings?
This is
That's
the grand finale, 2024 cuck-off.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking you, XQC. So is it the intention or is it the word? Because where do you draw the line?
I think I try to be reasonable about the intention based on what I have in front of me. If I do feel like because intention is impossible to fucking to prove, right? And that is not a court of law, but it's like if you have a general feel it's what the target was, I don't want my community to hear it. I won't be there for it.
Why do you draw the line for the word with your community? But
All right, buddy. Okay, a couple things. So one, I get what XQC is trying to say. What XQC is trying to say is that like, he makes his morals based on like what he experiences and like what he reads and stuff, like what you hear about from history and like how you experience things and that type of thing. So I definitely get. I completely agree with XQC on that. That's generally how your morals should like be brought upon, I guess. Like how you come across them, I guess. Meanwhile, Sneako's fucking LARPing as a fucking Muslim. I was about to say something else. What did?
Law, but it's like
Oh yes. So like clearly right here, Sneako's saying the F slur like just to be a dick. Like he's clearly saying it just to like get a rise out of somebody. Like it's not him genuinely asking, it's him like stirring the pot. Clearly, because he could just say like, okay, then what's what's your issue with the F slur specifically or whatever. He didn't have to say the word. Like come on now. He doesn't like the word, and now you're just saying it just to stir the pot, buddy.
yeah. If you have a general feel it's what the target was, I don't want my community to hear it. I won't be there for it.
why do you draw the line for the word with your community? But
Oh yes. So the other thing I was gonna say is that like, it's kind of retarded for Sneako to be like, well, why don't you draw the line at this group and not this group? Like it's not mutually exclusive. Just because I say that you can't say the N-word in chat doesn't necessarily mean I only care about black people or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's so fucking stupid. Like that's such a dumb question. Stuff like this is what makes me wonder if Sneako was ever actually intelligent, or if he was just following somebody that was really intelligent and it like made him look good initially.
you can call your fans broke. You could say you want to kill Cheezer. You could say thug. So why did you draw the line there?
That is true.
So,
Okay, so again, clearly at this point he is just saying it just to stir the pot. There is no reason for him to continually say the word just to get a rise out of people. But two, those other words that he said don't even mean anything, right? I'm sure Destiny's about to say this exact same thing, but like, people don't like being called broke or this or fat or whatever, because those are all things that like nobody wants to be broke, nobody wants to be fat, nobody wants to be this or that. But when you say the F slur like that, you're implying that like it's a bad thing to be gay, right? Like you're implying that that their sexuality is like a bad thing, right? And then on top of that, again, those other words, the broke and the fat and all of that, like calling him a thug or whatever, none of that like equates to using an actual slur, like a literal slur. like some people argue that retarded is a slur, but it's not. But like, I know some people get upset about it, but it's not. It's just straight up not on that same level whatsoever. So you're saying the F slur wholesale, and especially at this point where you're just saying it just to stir the pot, is so fucking stupid. And like trying to equate it to calling somebody broke or whatever, just it doesn't equal at all. It does not equate whatsoever.
okay. So I don't agree with the Caesar thing. I think that was kind of out of pocket. But the other thing, I think one is because is it something that this is like more of a worldview thing, right? Is it something that you can change, right? Is it something that people agree that you shouldn't hit somebody on? Is it like a protected class? Are broke people or let's say as an insult even if you don't know the person's work or not, right? Is that like a marginalized group in that way?
Okay, so you can change being a like you can stop doing that. Or you can't, when you call Cuff him a thug, he can't change his skin.
Okay. Sneako is actually fucking retarded. So, first of all, couple things. Again, he's just using the word to stir the pot. But two, no, if you don't kiss like whoever your sexual attraction is to, that doesn't mean like okay. So if like I stopped kissing girls today, right? And I like only kiss guys or whatever. That doesn't like erase me being straight. That doesn't change my sexuality at all. If somebody's gay and then they like but they like cut themselves off from guys and they like only fuck girls or whatever, that doesn't change. Like you're not gonna change your sexuality. There's nothing that has ever been discovered medically to like where you could just change somebody's fucking sexuality. The closest to that you could possibly get is like bullying somebody into like suppressing their sexuality, I guess.
In color. He's always
which is obviously bad.
Wait, okay, hold on. Wait, nothing about thug. Wait,
so
okay, two
many
things. Wait, two things.
assumptions are being made.
Couple things. Wait.
What?
So it's not. So we're using protected class and everything, but usually it's a proxy for like these things probably shouldn't be bad things. So if you make fun of somebody for being broke, right? Usually it's because being broke is a bad thing. Nobody wants to be broke. Broke people don't want to be broke. If you make fun of somebody for being fat, well, nobody wants to be fat. Like even fat people don't want to be fat. If you make somebody for being gay, well, the implication is that like being gay must be bad. The same with it being fat or being broke is.
Yes,
The
thank
reason
you.
That, get offended when you say that word is because they don't actually want to be.
No,
That's
the
why
reason they
he's
get
saying
offended
that
is
word.
because they think that other people are loading that word in a really negative way and they're being hateful with it.
No, it comes from a deep-rooted shame that they're never going to be accepted for who they are.
Really?
That's not.
Is
the
that
reason,
so?
yeah.
Wait.
So that is so fucking unhinged in so many levels. Okay, so first of all, let me take this step by step here. So first of all, again, like I said earlier, you're implying it's not that they're like ashamed of it or whatever, or they don't want to be that. And also, again, he's literally calling them the F slur at this point. Like he's just stirring the pot. This is not. This has a long gone over the threshold of him like asking out of curiosity. Now he's just like stirring the pot straight up. But two, again, like Dusty just said, you're like heavily loading the word into implying that their sexuality is like a bad thing, and obviously that's fucking unhinged. And like Sneako's trying to make the point that like, oh, it's because they're like deeply ashamed of it. Like, no, stop. That's just not true. It's they like what they like. It's not like they're doing the wrong thing or the correct thing or whatever the fuck. That's just what they're attracted to, buddy. And even if you like get them to like swear off being gay or whatever, they're just repressing their sexuality. You didn't change it. So like that's just unhinged. Yeah, no, like that's just crazy. That's wild.
Hey, is that why Muslims are the most? Wait. Is that why Muslims are the most fragile people on the internet? Then, is because when you make fun of their religion, they get so ass mad about it that they come out and they attack literally every person they see, even if it means beheading people in a comic book shop. Like,
Well, that's not true because you're still walking around and you've made fun of Islam. If that were
that's
true,
because I live.
So that's true too. That like when like Christians get really upset when you have like Satan in a movie or something, or that when you make fun of Christianity or whatever, does that like imply that Christians or Muslims or whatever are like are deeply ashamed of their religion? Like no, like it's such a dumb point. Like Sneako is just wild for even implying that. And then what was I gonna say? Oh yes, the other thing I was gonna say was that like, and like that's true that like a lot of times when like somebody makes fun of Muhammad or like has Muhammad in like a fucking show or something, like the Muslims get like fucking unhinged and like there's like the famous story of the South Park creators getting threatened over having Muhammad in an episode, or like when anytime Destiny like presses the Muslims at all, they get like really upset. So are you like implying then, Sneako, that that like you are you implying that they're like incredibly ashamed of their religion? Like it's just such a dumb point, and that could easily be turned around on you Like, this is, I can't believe he even like went for that as his first punch.
Live in the United States of America, thank God. But no, so I'm asking you, so then would you say every time a Muslim lashes out at somebody because you make fun of their religion, is that because they have a deep-seated shame about it?
No, I'm saying that the reason that XQC draws a line there, it's not because of this morality thing, because nobody wants to be fat, nobody wants to be broke.
Nobody wants to be a Muslim? Why do they get so offended when you make fun of them for it?
That's not, that's has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Like,
That's
people don't
exactly.
get
You said
offended.
that people get offended for being gay because they're ashamed to be gay.
I'm sorry, that sidestep from Sneako was wild. That was such a hard sidestep. Jesus. Because it clearly is like, when you swap those out, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, no matter however Sneako tries to twist this and like bend it in some weird ass way to like try to make it make sense, it doesn't. Like, straight up, it doesn't. Because you could make the same argument about like Muslims. Like, it's just it's just wild.
Okay. So I'm asking you then, do people get offended by being called Muslim because they're Muslims? Are they ashamed of being Muslims?
The way he debates Cuffham is he's going to equate being Muslim to being gay. Nobody gets offended if a blue-haired Destiny calls me a Muslim. Nobody's offended, right? If I call somebody gay and you're not gay, they'll get offended because nobody wants to be gay.
They're not offended. They don't want to be around people that are hateful. They're upset because you're being hateful towards them. The same way that Muslims get offended.
Yes, that's 1000% true. It's not that like nobody wants to be gay. It's just that like it's not like whatever you're calling them just isn't true, right? And then on top of that, you're being like incredibly hateful. Like you're heavily implying that them being gay is like a bad thing. Also, peep how Sneako has to like bring Destiny being a liberal into literally everything. Like how he turned to his friend and was like, "See, this fucking blue-haired fuck is gonna try to equate Muslim to being gay and this, that." Like, come on now. Like, that's wild.
When you talk about their religion in a negative way.
Also, I think that they have kind of the right to be upset, right? To be kind of shit on for something that they can't change, right?
No. It doesn't have to.
Especially
No,
when
it doesn't have to do. No, it doesn't have to do with
Go
can't
ahead.
change or can change. Like there are, for instance, you can change your nationality. It doesn't necessarily mean you should attack somebody over their nationality. You can change like, the country you're living in or whatever. It's a.
Well, that's gonna.
So I think they're both correct on that. But I do agree with Destiny that like, however, like the can or can't change thing, like obviously is really fucked up to bully somebody for something they can't change, but that is a hard line of argument to go down. So I think it was a smart idea for Destiny to kind of steer it towards the that it's just hateful direction.
It's gonna how. That's like my view on it. It's like I don't think it's a good thing that you go around just being who you are and getting clapped on all the fucking time for it. I think it's
Sure, it can feel bad, but I mean, like insults are supposed to feel bad. But the question is like, what do you want to make somebody feel bad for, right? If it's a bad characteristic, so if you think somebody's generally bad because they're like a Nazi or a tanky or a brokey or they're fat or whatever, those are all like bad characteristics. Then you can say like, oh well, fuck it, yeah, you can make fun of people for these things. If you're making fun of somebody for being gay, the implication is you think that being gay is like a negative, bad characteristic, and that's why you're being bad for it. That's why the person that came in here.
Here's the next issue: is that thinking that being gay is bad doesn't mean you hate gays, right? If being fat.
God, I hate Sneako. Fuck, I hate this man. So okay, those are just insanely retarded. First of all, if you say that but what did he say? Hold on, let me just clarify it.
Thinking that being gay is bad doesn't mean you hate gays, right?
Wait, actually, I want to hear how you try to
I
explain
don't
this.
hate fat people. It's gross. Like thinking something is gross. Thinking being broke is gross or bad does not. I don't hate broke people. There's no rich people don't hate broke people. Just like straight people don't hate gays. It's just weird and disgusting. You're allowed to be disgusting.
I'm sorry. What? What did this man just say? Okay. See, I don't hate you. I don't hate you at all. I just think you're fucking weird and disgusting, and I hate the fucking look at you. Like, like clearly you're implying that it's a very like gross, disgusting thing that you don't like to look at. Like, you're like acting like you don't like it, but then you're using like every possible adjective to describe it the same thing at the same time, right? Like, that's just so dumb. Like, that is the most retarded shit I've ever heard in my life.
disgusted by something and not hate it.
That's fine, but it's literally in the language you're using. If you're expressing publicly that you think something is gross and disgusting, the idea is you're being hateful towards it. You can play word games like, well, it doesn't mean you hate it, but I mean, like, it's essentially what...
Right. So like Destiny said, like, you can play the word game if you want, but like clearly you're implying that it's like a really bad thing and that like you hate to look at it and shit, right? So like no matter how you try to spit it, it's at best it's really questionable. Like at best you're just kind of being unhinged on accident, but like still it's still really bad.
What's being expressed?
I mean, I like to use extremes to really draw the picture, right? If you really think about it, what if you say, "Oh, I'm disgusted by a certain skin color"? I mean, it's gonna come off pretty hateful. Do you not agree?
Yeah, of course.
What? But you can't.
Right. So if like if I say that like, man, black people really, I'm really disgusted by black people. That like, that's obviously you being racist. Like, come on now. You're like, when you say you're disgusted by something, generally that means you hate it. Like, it's very rare that that's not the case.
Change your skin color. You can change, like, you can just stop stop kissing boys.
So now you
can't change being black.
Whoa, hold on.
So again, that argument just doesn't work. Like, I'm sorry, that argument just does not work whatsoever. Yeah, the argument just straight up doesn't work because the problem with that argument. Give me 1 second. Okay. The problem with that argument is that, like, again, just because you stop like participating in your sexuality or whatever, that doesn't mean that you. It doesn't mean that you stop feeling that sexuality, right? So, like, again, just like the example I used earlier, if I stop kissing girls and, like, start exclusively kissing guys or whatever, that doesn't make my sexuality go away or change or whatever the fuck. It just means I'm repressing my, like, urges or whatever.
Sexual orientation and the manifestation of that sexuality are two different things entirely.
Right, no, but being gay is a choice. That's a decision.
Is that your worldview on it?
That's just the truth. You choose to kiss.
I'm sorry. That's just wild. That is unhinged. It's a choice? Like, I'm sorry, that's just unhinged. Like, that's insane. It's not, like, a choice. Like, I don't choose to be straight, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. Obviously, and like the example I always use is that like I was like a guy, right? If you were forced to sleep with guys instead of girls, like obviously you'd be miserable. It's not like oh, I just stopped doing it and it changes. It's something that's like a part of you, right? That like that's part of your DNA, is your brain or whatever the fuck. Is that you're attracted to that thing? Like you can't. It doesn't work. Like his logic makes no fucking sense.
Is that your worldview or not? Did you say how it is?
He doesn't believe it's real because he's on some retarded shit. It's not worth arguing over.
That's just the objective truth. No, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, but
see, and the other thing that bothers me with Sneako is he keeps like sidestepping the questions and he won't take a hard stance on literally anything. I would almost respect it more if he was just like a hardcore fucking Nazi and like tripled down on everything he said. I would honestly respect that more, truthfully.
You can't. There's no place in the world where it's been like discovered how to change somebody's sexuality like that. It just doesn't happen. So no, you have no foundation for saying that.
You want to know how to not do that? Is just don't kiss a guy as a man.
Yeah, but then so what? Do you just not have relationships? Do you just not have relationships anymore, or?
Damn, Sneako. You know, I never thought of it like that. You know, if I just stopped doing it, you know, it would go away. It's just like, you know, with depression. Like, you know, you just think happy thoughts and then, you know, it just goes away. You know, it's just that simple. Like it sounds so retarded. It sounds like something either a 12-year-old or like the overly positive boss that doesn't have any life advice. It just gives you like really basic positive advice. Like, it's so dumb.
No, you could have a relationship, but with the correct sex.
Yeah, but if you don't have any sexual...
Bro, the correct sex is insane. That is unhinged. What? Nah, there's no way. I don't even know what to comment on that. Like, the correct sex is insane. I mean, like, I don't really know what to say. Like, that just clearly Sneako is incredibly homophobic. Like,
attraction towards them, why would you do that?
That's the wrong feeling. That's just an incorrect.
When you say the wrong feeling, what? According to who?
According to the world, the same reason you tell pedophile that they should stop being attracted to kids. It's like you should have a morality about
Hold on.
that.
Why do you think pedophilia is wrong?
so this is actually a really good question to ask Sneako, but I'll get into that in a second. On top of that, again, saying the correct thing to do is so fucking retarded. That's so insane. Like, it's, I don't, like, I'm running out of things to say because it's so fucking stupid. It's such a basic thing. And him, like, equating it to pedophilia is kind of wild. Because, like, he said that, that it's, like, a morality thing. And, like, it has nothing to do with morality. Because, again, obviously there's nothing wrong with being gay. Obviously. So him to, like, say the correct sex and, like, the right thing to do and blah, 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 and, like, equate it to pedophilia is fucking wild. That is insane.
Wrong.
Because you cannot.
No. Answer. It's a good question.
Yeah,
Answer.
I need to make sure you have any idea. Yeah, tell me. No, wait, make him answer. Yeah, don't bail him out. Make him answer. Why is pedophilia wrong, Sneako?
Because it's not how a relationship. Because God says it's wrong.
That's the reason why. Hold on.
Okay. Jesus fucking Christ, Nico. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. So. So, obviously, that is not the correct answer. At all. Because it doesn't answer the question at all. That's you not taking a hard stance at all. And, like, I'm sorry, like, if you don't want to take a hard stance on, like, pedo shit, on, like, P-word shit, like, I don't respect you, like, as a person. You're not a man. Like, I don't I don't know what to tell you. It's just so unhinged. Like, you saying that it's just because God, that's not what God wants or whatever. No one gives a fuck what God wants. First of all. For two, on top of that, you, there's tons of answers you could give that would have been valid. Like, you could have said that, like, well, you know, scientists have decided that it's around 18, and that, like, kids can't give consent and something. You could have gone the science argument. There's a ton of different ways you could argue that. But Sneako decided to go with the most retarded thing he could have possibly said.
Wait, so Sneako, no, wait, this is so easy. So then Sneako, so if God tells you that you can f kids, like he did with Muhammad or whatever, you think that's okay then? That you would change your mind on that tomorrow?
That's not what happened.
No, I'm asking you, if God tells you, Sneako, I think that kids is okay, then you would change your mind on it tomorrow.
There has to be a justification for everything.
Oh, hold on. God has to justify himself? God has to
So again, like, the logic just doesn't attach, like, at all. So because if it's only bad because God said it's bad, right? Then he shouldn't have to give you a justification for then telling you it's okay to do that, right? Again, this is just such a bad argument for Sneako to go down. This is the easiest W in Destiny's life ever. Also, this is a crazy stop screen. But yeah, like, that's just the logic doesn't attach whatsoever. And then on top of that, it's such an easy argument to turn around. And the thing is that, like, Sneako's such a fucking pussy that he won't, like, stand 10 toes down on any issue. Because now he's at this point where he can't agree with Destiny at this point because he's already, like, stuck his foot in the fucking it's because God said so thing. So, like, now he can't give the logical answer at all. Like, he can't concede and give the logical answer at all. Like, he's put himself in such a bad position on top of being just fucking stupid.
justify it. If you're talking about the need for a justification, then that means something's not good because God says it. It's only good because he's giving you whatever the justification is. So God saying things doesn't mean anything then. So you're just wrong on that. So then what's the justification then for why pedophilia is bad?
Because it's not, kids cannot consent.
There you go. Good job. Yep, you got there. Good job. So
and
homosexuality.
Also, don't good job me. It goes down to what we see from God. If God created
it doesn't.
Genders,
no, because you don't see God, so it doesn't matter. Okay.
There's no purpose. There's no purpose for a man to.
Listen, that's Sneako. If you need a book to tell you not to f kids, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, but most people can figure out why it's wrong on their own, and you got to the answer in the end, which.
Yes, like, I'm sorry if you need a book, like, if you need, like, a book from your Sky Daddy to tell you why fucking kids is wrong, like, like, I don't know what to tell you, dog. Your shit's all fucked up. It should be pretty easy to come to why that is by yourself. But, again, like, he could have went with the science argument, and that would have helped him a bunch. But he didn't. He decided to be a fucking retard and stick it in the fucking, well, it's because God said so camp. And like Dusty said, like, if you need a justification on why you should be able to do it, then God's answer or whatever didn't matter at all. Anyways.
What we see from God. If God created
it doesn't.
Genders,
no, because you don't see God.
Yes, so that was the other thing I was going to say. One, like Destiny said, you don't see God at all. But yeah, like, it's just such a dumb thing to say. And two, has nothing to do with God. Has nothing to do with what he told us or whatever the fuck, whatever you believe, I guess. It's purely like what science has taught us and like what we've come to as a civilization and all that shit.
So it doesn't matter, okay?
There's no purpose. There's no purpose for a man to.
Listen, that's Sneako. If you need.
Oh yes, that too. As far as no purpose, everything you do doesn't have to have a fucking purpose. Like, that's so stupid. If you think you have to have like a grand purpose in doing everything, that's dumb. That's insane. When I play a game, like, right, I don't have like a grand purpose from it or whatever the fuck. It's just, it's fun to do. Or like, you could like make an argument that like marriage in general doesn't have a purpose, but it's something other people want to do, and it means like a lot to them. So you just don't need you don't have to have a fucking grand purpose for everything you do. If you think you do, that's just insane. Yeah.
A book to tell you not to f kids, I don't know what to tell you, okay? But most people can figure out why it's wrong on their own, and you got to the answer in the end, which is good. Which is good. Which is good.
The fact that you answered that question, maybe you need that book.
No, because you compared homosexuality to wait, make him answer this question. No, hold on. Why is it then that homosexuality, which can be practiced between two consenting adults, why should that be a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, it's just not right. There's no purpose that it's serving. What are you doing that?
Again, saying it's not right is just insane. Like, who's dictating what's right? You know what I mean? Like, who's like saying what is and isn't right? That's such an insane, unhinged thing to say. Like, who's making that decision? And on top of that, who are you to say that something's not right? Like, wait, what does that even mean?
The purpose it's serving is two people that love each other, might want to be in a relationship and build a household and do that together. That might be something they want to do.
It doesn't serve a greater purpose.
Every single thing in your life has to serve a greater purpose?
Exactly.
Oh.
So, again, everything in your life doesn't have to have, like, some grand point or, like, grand purpose or whatever the fuck. Like, you don't have to have a giant reason to do everything. You're just... Again, like, you could argue that maybe marriage doesn't really have a purpose or whatever. But, like, some people really like that, and that's what gives them joy, is having their partner and everything. So it means a lot to them. Everything doesn't have to have some, like, giant grand fucking purpose. That's insane.
It was a question. You didn't answer it. It was a question. Yeah, he asked you a question.
Well, he said, yeah, I guess everything in your life has to serve
I said everything has to fulfill a greater purpose. Why would you do anything for no reason?
Sneako, you bring the book a lot and the whatever you read a lot, you reference that a lot into what's good and wrong, but I don't think that the fucking book told you to fucking sit the red rock and fucking gamble. I think that's like usually called the haram order. I don't think people think you should do that in that book. Does it? So why'd you do it then?
Gambling is a sin.
So why'd you do it then?
Because no Muslim is perfect. Like that's okay.
Weird... So you pick and choose, and then you choose how wrong you're gonna be, and then you dictate what people should be doing based on that same book. Then.
No, and then we should strive to be perfect, right? So that was an example of.
So his logic doesn't make sense. So when he gets called out on it, he pulls the we're not all perfect thing. Like he pulls out the there's not anyone religious that's perfect or whatever, right? Which is retarded. That's obviously like you throwing your hands up and like try not to take the blame for something. On top of that, fuck, what was I gonna say? Hold on, give me 1 second. I was about to say something else.
That same book then.
No.
Oh yes. So he also like picks and chooses when he wants to be Muslim, right? He like picks and chooses when he wants to listen to the Quran. I think it is, unless I'm just fucking autistic. I think it's Quran. He like picks and chooses when he wants to listen to the Quran and when he doesn't. And when he does it, he just kind of throws his hands up. It's like, well, not every religious person's perfect or whatever, right? But then like, whenever he decides to follow the Quran, he's like super uppity about it. And I think that's the thing that's why everybody gives him so much shit, is because he's so like morally uppity and like shit talks people that don't exactly follow their religion or whatever. And he like grills everybody that has like a small moral weakness or something, but he doesn't follow he can't give an explanation for his own fucking morals. And his own morals don't make any fucking sense. So like it doesn't add up.
And then we should strive to be perfect, right? So that was an example of me sinning, and I don't publicize those sins because I know that we have an audience, and it's important that we do the right thing.
So you only publicize, but you don't uphold those values yourself.
Yes, exactly. XQC just made an excellent point. That again, he picks and chooses when he wants to have those religious morals. And when he gets called on, he's like, "Well, I don't publicize it, so you know, everybody's not perfect or whatever." Like that, but that's retarded. Like that's insane. You can't chastise everybody else for their morals, right? And like get on your religious horse or whatever the fuck. And then, but when you get called out on it, you just kind of shrug your shoulders. I'm like, well, not every religious person's perfect. Like that just doesn't work whatsoever.
That's grifting. You're just a grifter.
It's not grifting. It's taking responsibility to promote the right things, right? No,
it's 1000% grifting. If you were religious, you would mostly follow the Quran, but you don't. You like pick and choose, and like sometimes you're LARPing as a Muslim, and then other times you don't care about the Quran. Like and like what we hear about how Sneako is off camera, like he doesn't follow his ethics whatsoever, the ethics that he preaches whatsoever. So like it just it doesn't make sense. Also, I would like to remind everybody that this person that's chastising gay people is also the same person that did a gay porn. So like he is highly projecting. So like, damn, bro.
No, that's grifting. That's grifting.
I don't think you know what that word means, XQC. The difference between me and you is that I'll sin. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't publicize, but you profit off of it. Like, you make a lot of money, you make millions of dollars selling sin, and I don't. And we should take the responsibility to not do these things. Do I sin every day? Of course. I listen to music.
I don't see life as a sin or not. I make profit on my life off my lifestyle, not off the sin, off my lifestyle. I just do my.
Right. So like he can't pull that card on XQC because XQC is not religious, so to him it's not a sin. So like life isn't like a sin or not to him, right? Because he's not religious at all. Or to my knowledge, he's not religious. So Sneako trying to pull that card is just wild.
Thing. It is not guided by some book or some scroll or some writing in the sky. It's just what I want to be
So
doing.
how do you know what's right and wrong if you don't get it from God?
Is that a real question or is that a controller?
It's a real.
Like, I don't even blame XQC for asking, because that's such a retarded question. That, like, obviously, your morals shouldn't all come from a book, right? Like, you should be able to, like, if that's what you point to for what's right and wrong, you're gonna have a really hard time going through life, buddy. Because all of your morals can't come from one thing. Like, you have to, like, pull from your life experience and, like, base your morals off of that. That's why a lot of younger people are kind of fucking stupid, is because they haven't made that moral framework yet, right? Whereas Sneako is so stupid that every time he gets challenged on morals at all, he just points to his book that he doesn't even fucking follow.
Real question. How do you, so you decide what's right and wrong? How do you know what's good?
Just overall, just morality, values, just overall worldviews, just generally what I know about society and history, and I try to have a good understanding.
Society. So where does it come from? Because there's been a lot of people that have been right and
history.
wrong
I just told you. You know nothing. History, yeah.
History. So which historians are good? Which ones are bad?
Wait a minute. Which ones are bad? Which ones?
I'm asking you. You're saying that that's where you get it from. How do you know who's good and who's bad in history?
Dude, I shouldn't.
So Sneako is just trying to trip XQC up on retarded shit. He's trying to, so, like, obviously Sneako didn't come into this for, like, an actual genuine conversation. He doesn't see XQC as a threat. He thinks XQC is, like, fucking retarded, because of his, like, vocal disability. Or I think it's a disability, but, like, you know what I mean. But XQC is, again, making a good point that, like, you should be pulling your morals from, like, history and your life experience, that type of thing. You shouldn't, like, have to point to some, like, 200-year-old book or century-old book or whatever to be trying to figure out your morals. Like, you should be able to, like, come to your own conclusions on those.
To navigate the world with what I know overall, and get to them as much as I can with what was taught to me, what the schools tell me, what society, and I try to go above and beyond so if I can
So you
learn
get
more
your
about the
morality
world
from school?
for all the elements that I can. If you
So Sneako is, like, clearly being completely obtuse. Like, he's clearly, like, being super ignorant. He knows exactly what XQC is trying to say. That, like, he gets this from, like, what he was taught in school, what he was taught by his parents, like, what he experienced, what he lived through, that type of thing. Him saying that, like, so you're just basing it on what you learned from school, that's insane. That's unhinged. And I'm sorry, like, I know I keep saying that it's unhinged, but, like, it is. And again, he's clearly just trying to get a gotcha on XQC. He clearly picked this fight because he doesn't respect XQC. And I actually don't think XQC is dumb at all. I think he has some trouble getting through these conversations sometimes, just because of his, like, vocal thing he has going on. But he actually does really well for the most part, despite that. He's quite intelligent when he wants to be. I used to think XQC was dumb, but, like, as I, like, watch some of these debates he has with Destiny and stuff, he's not actually dumb at all. He's actually quite smart when he wants to be. He just, like, he has trouble getting through the conversation sometimes.
you would take only your morality from some book that was written a long time ago, I mean, you're bound to be maybe outdated on some of it. No.
No, absolutely not. I mean, God.
Okay. I mean,
So that's just not true, Sneako. XCC made an excellent point that, like, if you're basing all of your ethics and morals on some book that from, like, 200-300 years ago, then, like, I'm sorry, but you're bound to make a bunch of mistakes, and a lot of it being super outdated. Because that book has nothing on social media, it has nothing on modern relationships, on the social climate right now, all the type of stuff. Like, that's just not true. Obviously, a lot of that is going to be super outdated.
That's not outdated.
That is your worldview, and I respect it.
And then we update it, and, like, let's be real.
Oh, it's updated.
On top of that, XQC is trying to be very respectful, but Sneako is just being incredibly retarded.
What version is that?
I said you update it. I said you update it.
Did it patch already? Yo, what patch are we on now?
I said you updated it. And
That doesn't patch it. And again, Sneako knows what he's trying to say. Sneako is just trying to be super ignorant and act stupid, so he doesn't get called out.
That's the reason why you're
No, I
drawing
didn't.
the line.
No, I did not did anything. I don't abide by it.
Okay, so but you didn't give me an answer to where you get your morality from. So you're
I
saying it's
told
all-
you from the information I haven't given, navigating the world. That's it.
Right,
As
so
much as I can from a lot of
navigating the
places.
world. Correct. So it's always
Yes.
updating. So it's always updating and it's always
Yes.
changing.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, it's always yes.
Okay. So
Because-
it's in a constant software update.
Because the man, if you, I like some of the guys that like to use the word man and male. Because I think overall, mankind strives to be better. Once we know more, we can change things. Sometimes textbooks are wrong, like science, and they have to fix it. They know more, they improve. I try to adapt and add new parts of the machine that are a stronger machine. It's what I do. It's what I think people should try to do.
So your
If you-
morality could be different tomorrow than it is today?
Absolutely, 100%.
So I completely agree with XQC again. Is that like your morality and your like code of ethics and everything should constantly be changing. Obviously, it should be completely different every other second, but you should be updating it with things like there's certain words I don't really use anymore because it upsets certain friends of mine. So I just don't use those words. Like, yes, they can be funny or whatever, but like I don't want to upset those friends, so I just don't use those words anymore, and it's not like really socially acceptable. So I'm not gonna say those words on stream. Your code of ethics should never be stagnant. I should never be like, okay, I'm never changing again. This is exactly how my morals are gonna be till the day I die. That's fucking stupid. Your morals should always be changing when you learn new things and like when you meet new people and maybe you think that certain things aren't as good as you thought they were before, or like you think certain things now are pretty offensive or whatever, that you used to think were funny before. Like your ethics should always be changing. If like you have it changed quite a bit within 10 years or like within a few years or whatever, then you're clearly doing something wrong.
These are things that we don't know yet about human cognition, psychology, just social behaviors. We just don't know some things, and we have to adapt to new information.
Also,
In order to
literally,
cause
Evan,
less
even
harm and
also
events.
even religions literally do this. Okay, like even religions update their standards for how they exist and how they are spread amongst their people and how their nations are ran over time. Like Islam's done this, Christianity's done this,
No,
Catholicism.
Islam has not done that. That's not true. And Christianity has been adapted, but that's besides the point.
What do you mean Islam hasn't done this? You don't think that Islam or Islamic states haven't changed the way, for instance, that they approach like dhimmi, like the way that they have like other religious groups that live in their countries? Like there are tons of.
You're changing morality to politics, and that's not
That's
what I'm talking
hold on.
about.
I'm sorry. Wait. Shut the. That's not politics at all. What do you mean? That of course that's morality.
You
There
said
should be.
Muslim states. You said Muslim countries. I'm talking about the book.
I'm
the
sorry.
alphabet.
What do you think Muslim?
Okay. All right, buddy. Sneako, you fucking retard. So, let me. Okay. So, Sneako, buddy. If it's a Muslim state or a Christian state or a Jewish state or whatever the fuck, obviously, those laws and that government and that whole thing is going to be based off of their book, their religion, and what the religion says. If you think that Islamic states and Islam itself have nothing to do with each other, you're fucking retarded. Like, I'm sorry, there's no other way for me to put that. Like, you're fucking insane. If you think that those have nothing to do with each other, and that, like, those states aren't based off of Islam, you're just dumb. Like, I'm sorry. That's wild. Because obviously the book and the government are connected.
Muslim state means that's not involved in religion. What do you think a caliphate is? Who do you think Muhammad was? What the f are you talking about?
Okay, you're shifting the goalposts. This is not. Like,
Hold on. I'm sorry. Wait. I just need to hear you say this. Do you?
Like, I'm sorry, but like, Sneako is just dodging the questions so hard. Like, it's not even funny. Okay, actually, it's actually really funny, but that's beside the point.
You think that politics and Islam are completely dissociated from one another? They don't have anything to do with each other?
Right, you saying that it's changing, that's sort of an example of politics changing the religion. That's not to the core, and that's besides the point.
How is that besides the point? I'm sorry, hold on. I need to hear you say this. Do you think that the political system, Islamic theocracy, you don't think that has anything to do with Islam, the religion? You think those are two totally separate things?
Genuinely, I don't really care about what you're saying about Islam.
I know, because you have no idea. But okay, if you don't have any idea what the you're talking about, why are you roasting him on not knowing where all of his morals come from? You don't even know about the own religion that you grift on. Like, Jesus, who cares?
I'm asking questions to XQC, okay?
You're not. You're trying to grill him because he doesn't have an answer to the ultimate source of morality. And
Right, so that's the thing that's frustrating me, is that, like, Sneako doesn't even, like, know the basics and, like, the fundamentals of his own religion that he's LARPing under, right? But he's, like, trying to grill XQC on, like, the most important moral questions ever, but, like, you don't even know your own morals, my guy. Like, you don't even know the basics of your own religion. Like, you think that the state and the book have nothing to do with each other. You're fucking insane. But yet you're trying to grill him on the, like, super important moral questions and shit. Like, that's wild.
you don't even understand your own source of morality. It's a retarded conversation. You're just trying to, like, go for gotchas here so you can clip it up on your Rumble channel
No,
later.
I'm not clipping up anything. I'm not streaming right now. I wanted to talk about the word.
Also, you don't have to be streaming to be recording. That's what? How do you think people make pre-recorded content, my guy?
And then you started, like, yapping over him to save him, right?
Nobody's yapping over anybody. I started asking you questions because you compared homosexuality to pedophilia because you didn't know why fucking kids was wrong.
I just told you why. Okay. XQC,
You stumbled into the answer eventually. Congratulations.
Why the word faggot, for example, why do you the reason that you draw the line there is because of the always updating morality that we have, right?
That's all I said. No, it doesn't have to do with it.
No, he has a problem with it because it's a fucking slur. Like, this is not a hard debate or, like, question. It's because it's a fucking slur, my guy. It's the same reason that people don't like the hard R. Yeah, like, it's just dumb. It's insane. Him, like, being like, oh, it's because you have this always updating morality or whatever. Like, sure, a few hundred years ago, or not even that, like 100 years ago or whatever, that was, like, something people said, but, like, it was fucked up. So, like, people stopped saying it. Like, it's just, that's how it works. The social climate is always updating. I'm sure there's certain words I say now that I'll probably will think are fucked up, like, in a handful of years. Like, it's just, that's how it works.
That's why within your community you draw the line at this word, because Twitch tells you that this is the word. You don't want to insult.
That doesn't even make fucking sense, bro. Because, so, XQC streams on Kick as well, so that doesn't make fucking sense. And he never brought up Twitch as a reason. Sneako was just trying to paint him as, like, fucking woke or something. But being progressive isn't a bad thing. Yeah, it's just that's wild.
Engaging. What do you he didn't give Twitch as an answer for anything.
I'm explaining something. It's not his answer.
You're not. You're talking about the Matrix.
What are you talking about?
Are we streaming on Twitch right now?
What do you, I'm on Kick. I didn't even go to Twitch today.
He has fostered a community, a Twitch community that tells him.
If you want to know what it is, I don't mind leaking my shit. My contract has no morality clauses. What that means is that I don't have to abide by some morality standard of Amazon or anything to keep my contract at Kick. They don't give a shit. I can tell you anything I want to, and I'd still be fine about it. And it wouldn't cancel my shit. I don't give a pussy. Like, I don't. It's not why I do it. I don't want to do it.
Sorry, I love XCC. Yeah, like, it has nothing to do with Twitch. It's just that's just, like, what he perceives as the right thing to do. And, like, it is, like, generally socially, like, you're not supposed to say those words. And they're kind of fucked up to say. Like, it's not that hard. It's really not.
Do it. It's that simple. And I have a few set of things on the why do it or not. And the only thing you can reference is some fucking book written like 9 million years ago, dude. Like, I don't give I don't abide by that. I don't abide by that. I respect that you do, but I don't.
Okay, but why do you think that you stop there at this word? It's because being on Twitch, I'm not saying that you have a contract for it, but being on this website so long with people that run it that also don't believe in God, they follow your morality system where it's always updating and it's always changing.
It has to. It has.
Because that's just the intelligent thing to do. Like, And like XQC is about to say, like that it has to. Your morality has to always be changing and updating, because if it's not, then you're not learning. And if you're not learning, that's obviously a bad thing. Like, there's no other way to put that. And if it's not updating constantly, then you're just dumb. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're not a person.
That's true.
No, then we start tolerating crazy things, right? If it always updates and changes, we don't know where we draw the line.
Actually, it's the opposite. It's if we don't update it, then we have crazy shit like Muhammad marrying a child. like it's wild. Like, I'm sorry. The logic just doesn't make sense. If it's always updating, then we're updating it with new things that we're like, okay, this is probably a better way to do this instead of saying slurs and shit.
If we never updated our morality, like Disney said, people would be kids now and it would be accepted. We had to understand why it's bad, right? And have core fundamentals and really get why is this bad, and then apply that in real time. That's an update. That is an update. It's how that works. We understand why something is bad through whatever in psychology, cognition, logic, whatever, and then we apply that. Otherwise, you stop being better. Like, why is the concept of being a better person and going so foreign to you? You don't want to be better?
Here's an easy question. Listen, okay, so should we update or not? What do you think the age of consent should be?
Oh no, Sneako's fucked on this. But yeah, like XQC said, like it should always be updating. Like you should always wanting to improve yourself. You should always, and like I'm trying to improve my content. Now, like I'm working on that video essay. I promise I'm working on a video essay. We're gonna hopefully have it out soon. But like you should always be improving. Like I said, I'm trying to improve my content. I'm trying to get more into commentary, video essay type stuff. And that's something I want to do, and like improve the content. Get more eyes on the channel, all that fun stuff. But as far as your morality, that should always be improving too. You should always be like, well, maybe it's kind of fucked up that I did blah blah blah. Maybe I should do this instead, or maybe I should cut that out of my vocabulary or something, right? Like you should never be static. You should never be okay with being static.
Sneako?
Yeah, this is not an important conversation.
No, it's a super. You don't think kids are not as an important conversation? What do you think?
I'm sorry. Saying age of consent is not an important conversation is insane. That is the hardest sidestep I've ever seen in my life. Him getting asked that question and then him proceeding with, well, this is an important conversation is fucking insane. That is unhinged.
The age of consent should be. If you want to be consistent, you don't think anything updates, just tell us what you think it should be.
I think it should be past age at a developed age, Justin.
What is a developed age? If you had to set a law for it, what would you set it? What would you set it about?
I'd say it's a developed.
What the fuck does a developed age mean? What does that even mean? Because the developed age could literally mean anything. A developed age could mean that you like fucked a 12-year-old and you're like, well, she was really developed, and now what? You're good? Like, like that doesn't make sense. Yeah, developed age is so vague that it doesn't mean anything.
Age.
No, answer the question, you.
And like the problem too, sorry, I just thought about this. The problem too is he's quoting his book, but the problem is now he can't agree that it's 18 because like that the age of consent is 18 because he's already like built himself that hill to die on. So now he can't step down it to agree with destiny. He has to like stay on that hill because that's the thing he's grifting for. So now if he like steps out of it, then he looks retarded and like he doesn't believe in his thing, which he doesn't believe in his thing. He's just LARPing as a Muslim, but besides the point.
Fucking pussy. Holy shit. You're such a cowardly fuck. Stand up for what you believe in. If you actually are Muslim, you're actually Islamic or whatever, then stand up for your beliefs. Every other Muslim scholar online will do this. Do it. Stand tall on it. Don't act like a little pussy in here trying to grow XQC on modern meta ethics or whatever. If you won't even answer basic questions about your worldview, what should the age of consent be?
You see how
you want to answer the question? You see how he's going to yap and not answer the question? I'm going to ask the same thing when you're.
Yeah. Again, the thing is that like Sneako keeps trying to sidestep it. He won't answer a question. He won't have an actually hard stance on anything. Because he knows what the correct answer is, but he's like painted himself in a corner with all his fucking grifting that now he can't give that actual answer. And if he disagrees with it, he looks retarded. So, but if he changes his answer now, then now he looks insane. Like he looks like a fake, which he's a fake. He's LARPing again. He's LARPing as a Muslim, but he won't stand down on anything because he's busy playing his part or whatever, or this character that he's built up for himself.
You're done. Go ahead.
I just answered the question. I just told
What
you.
was the age?
I just told you at a developed age.
Sneako thinks you.
He didn't answer the actual question. Again, he's like doing this weird sidestep thing where he won't actually take a stance on issue. Like this is like the bare minimum stance. Like age of consent is like the easiest stance you should ever have in your life. Like, is there probably like a 16 or 17-year-old that's like really well developed? Probably, but I don't care. I don't care. They can suck it up and wait a year, right? I'm not gonna like decide to move the age of consent because there is the chance that there's like a really well developed 16 or 17-year-old, right? That's just an insane thing to even like try to go with, right? Which Sneako hasn't made that argument yet, but he's still sticking on his developed age thing. But the problem with the developed age argument is that it's so vague that you can stick any age in there and you could probably make it work, right? And like what Destiny's probably about to say is that like, okay, then you're saying that you can fuck 12-year-olds and like just say that she was really well developed, like it doesn't make sense.
You should be able to fuck 9-year-olds. That's what Sneako thinks, and he won't answer that question honestly. Or he's going to have to give a different answer, in which case he's updated his morality. He's updated his views, and that's really uncomfortable for him. You don't have an answer to any of this shit, bro. Go back.
Yes, like Sneako is terrified of saying that he just doesn't know the answer to something, which that's fine if you don't know the answer to things. But like he's doing this like moral high ground thing where he like paints himself in a corner, and now he starts like fucking shadow boxing with everything, but he won't actually take a hard stance on anything. And again, this should be the easiest hard stance of your life. Like this should be the easiest political stance to ever have. But yeah, like and like he said Sneako can't agree with Destiny now because then that means he updated his morality, which he can't do because of his because he's LARPing as a Muslim, and he made that argument that like you completely follow the book.
That corner in London where you're getting roasted by year 1 debaters on Christianity. This is retarded. I don't know what the you're doing in here.
Okay. Bro, my man is getting grilled. Yeah, no, that was a fucking hilarious video. So if you don't know, there's a video where like Sneako was dating Christians on some London street. I think it was like the equivalent of Times Square or something. But anyways, he was debating Christians there in London and was getting fucking destroyed. Like the Christians were like absolutely obliterating him. It was kind of sad to watch.
Okay, so you can leave the call. I wanted to go talk about this.
I don't want to leave the call. I like hanging out here. I've talked to a lot of files on the.
I'm sorry, that was a crazy joke. First of all, that was crazy. Second of all, what do you mean leave the call? I'm pretty sure Destiny was in here before he was, and then Sneako just randomly joined. Because I'm assuming Cheezer invited him or something.
Pass, so.
Okay.
Okay, Sneako, I'm actually curious now. What do you think the age of development is?
I just told you. It depends on where you are. It depends on the
okay. Then
I'm sorry. Like, that's just such a stupid fucking answer. Developed age doesn't mean anything. And him saying it depends is even worse. Like, the age of development just doesn't make fucking sense.
What stage do you think somebody's developed in? What stage of development? Because there's a lot of stages in development.
It varies. I don't think
it varies. It varies on the what?
It varies is fucking insane. Like, I'm sorry. Like, again, this should be the easiest stance to have ever. But he paid himself in such a stupid fucking quarter at this point that he either comes out as a fake or he just looks fucking unhinged. And he keeps saying, "Well, I already answered." No, you didn't. You just said that it's the age of development or whatever, but that doesn't make fucking sense.
It varies on the age.
It varies on the age.
It depends on where you are.
You need to have set ages for that. There are stages of development. As a child, an adolescent, an adult, and then fully developed. Like, is it the brain? Is it the body? Is it cognition? What parts of development is it? Can you target that?
I don't spend too much time thinking about that.
Okay, so if a man fucked a 12-year-old and he was like, well, this person was like really developed, would that be okay then? You wouldn't call that person a pedophile?
No, that's wrong. Absolutely.
Why is that wrong?
See, this is the thing. Is that Destiny's completely right. That, like, because you're making the argument of the developed age or whatever, then that means that that, like Destiny said, like, it could be a 12-year-old and you could just argue, she was really developed. Like, that doesn't make sense. Clearly. Like, the developed age could literally mean anything. But he just agreed that, like, you couldn't fuck, like, a 12 or 16-year-old or whatever. But, like, with your answer you're giving, Sneako, that just doesn't make sense. You need to, like, give an actual concrete answer. He's not giving a concrete answer, but he's acting like he is.
I just said that you're not supposed to do relationships with people, but look.
Well, you can't do relationships?
You can't do relationships with children. I said that. Like,
wait, what is a child though? But what if they say they were developed?
Developed is 18 plus, bro. Like, come on now.
Ooh, do you co-sign that, Sneako? Is that what developed means? 18 plus?
Well, people believe that, but throughout a lot of states, a lot of it's like 17, a lot of it's 16.
Oh, so you think 16, 17? That's.
Bro, what are you doing? Sneako, are you justifying fucking pedophilia now? Like, what are you doing? That's so wild, bro. Like, I'm sorry, that's just crazy. That just doesn't make sense. Because now he just, like, justified fucking 16-year-olds. Like, that's wild, bro.
The ethical age to start f***ing or marrying people?
I don't follow, but see, I don't follow the legal morality that you guys are following.
So
I'm asking you for the Sharia. I'm asking you for the Sharia morality. What's the religious one? What do you think is the morality there?
It says developed. It's not a specific age.
So if the pedophile or if a guy wants to 12-year-old, if he feels like they're developed, then you're saying it should be okay in terms of religion, right? In terms of at least ethics or morality, right?
No, in the Quran, it does not specify. It doesn't have an age. Like, you're going to go in circles about this forever?
I'm just curious why it's so hard to get you to give an age for when you think is an acceptable time to somebody.
I answered the same question 4 times.
You haven't given it. Developed isn't an age. It's not a number.
Sneako, I think he's...
Right, so, like, he's not giving an answer. He's, like, acting like he gave an answer, but, like, clearly he did it. Because, again, developed is not an age. Like, that doesn't... Your logic doesn't make sense, buddy.
He's trying to make an understanding of how you apply it in the real world. How do you apply that knowledge or that piece of that you're...
Yeah, again, here's the problem: is nobody from Destiny's Child is like, damn, Sneako's making sense. He's really winning me over. But there are people in there's probably people in Sneako's chat that are like, damn, Destiny's making a lot of sense. He's kind of winning me over. The thing is that, like, he's fighting a losing battle for no reason. And again, this is the most insane hill for him to try to die on. And obviously, he knows exactly what destiny means. He's just acting retarded for no reason.
That phrase you're using, develop age, into the real world. How does somebody navigate that? Somebody who read the same book that you did, had your information. How do they navigate the world? How do they do it?
It's hard to understand you. How does someone navigate the world without a book?
No.
No, he knows exactly what XQC is saying. Like, what XQC is trying to say is that, like, how do you take from the Bible or the Quran or whatever and, like, use that in real life? Because you can't just take those texts and, like, oh, they automatically implant into your real life or whatever. It's the same as, like, how you take lessons from stories or shows or whatever. Like, you'll take lessons you learn from watching something and then you, like, take that into your real life. But what Sneako tried to do is take the exact text and use that in real life, and, like, that just doesn't work. Because now your morality and your code of ethics are, like, incredibly paper thin.
You're missing the point. How, if you or you use that phrase, developed, right, as a concept, somebody knows this and they intake that. How do they apply that to the real world? How is they supposed to know? That's just sort of specifics behind it, right?
What is your question? How do you apply the Quran to the real world?
Yes, if the book says that phrase, developed, right? Somebody, when they go into the real world, how do they apply that? How do they use that to know what to do? It's a simple question. Please answer it.
It's pretty easy to tell if somebody's a developed human or not. If
So that you trust every human that has read the book to know what's development and know how to use that, and you trust that people will do that responsibly. Yes.
Well, this is also the value of having a community, of people around you who are on the same sort of
Also, if you do it, so if you say, oh, my bad, I thought it was developed. They were only 13. Let's say you say that the community should now say, oh, you shouldn't have done that, and that's good course correction.
Right. If there's people around that are educated, you have sheikhs and you have other people within the
So
community.
after the mistake, so after you've done wrong, they go, hey, yo, dude, you probably shouldn't have done that, bro.
No,
like,
if they're following the faith, then they're gonna have the right intentions, and they're gonna ask people, and it's gonna be pretty obvious.
So they have to wait for faith to come down on.
So again, Sneako's just not answering these questions. He's just like hardcore sidestepping them, then acting like he actually answered those questions, which is just wild. Like it's just, and he's like acting like, oh, like a lot of these answers are obvious, so that's not that third. But like you're not standing on anything though. That's the thing.
I'm saying it's the value of having a community that's on the same page about things. The same, and you know that.
But
that's
when
why you
they come
establish
in,
rules within your community.
The community is supposed to come in and tell you what to do and when not to do it, or if that's how you use, if that's the number you use to navigate the world.
You guys keep trying to make it seem like it's as concrete.
I'm not trying to make it. It has to be concrete. That's how the world works, legally and morally. You have to. Yes, you have to know.
No, that's actually, you just contradicted yourself. If you have
no,
to know,
no, I
you
didn't.
You said your morality always changes and updates.
Exactly. Because if you don't know something, then you'll know more later. But you cannot say, oh, dude, I didn't know because my community didn't tell me. Like, it's just a stupid way to navigate the world. Like, what? You don't have to, you don't have to fucking make the jump to see if there's, if the hole will kill you. So other people might have seen it, will tell you ahead of time. Do you have to jump? No, you don't. But you're saying, yes, but it's a community. Brother, what are you talking about?
I'm not, it's hard to understand.
How, I asked.
No, he heard XQC. Like, I'm sorry. He's just being completely obtuse at this point. Like, he's just trying really hard. He's trying really hard to not understand XQC, so he doesn't have to answer the question. Like, because he's just trying to sidestep these questions to act fucking stupid. Because what XQC is saying is that, like, his logic doesn't add up. You shouldn't have to have your I don't even know if I want to use that argument. Like, you shouldn't have to have your community and stuff tell you these things for you to know them. Yes, it helps to have that, like, community and social binding and stuff, but you should be able to come to these conclusions on your own and have conversations with people about them. You shouldn't need them from a book and from your community and stuff. You should be able to pull from your life experiences and that type of thing. Like history and like what science tells us and that type of thing.
Ask you a simple question. You failed to answer like 10 times. If the only thing that somebody knows is what you know, is what the book says, that one phrase, when they're developed, how can they use this knowledge and then operate in the real world and use this information to not be a deviant or a weirdo? How can they do that?
The same reason that we know intrinsically when you look at somebody, if they're a man
not
or
a good
woman.
answer. The format of your answer sucks.
I didn't finish making my answer.
The format sucks though. The same way, I don't know what the same way that is. Just give me the answer.
I'm giving you the answer.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you do your answer then. Go ahead. Do your
Right,
thing.
the same way throughout history, it's always been known. You could tell when you look at somebody if somebody is a man or somebody's a woman. It's the same thing when you can look at somebody and you know if they're an adult or they're a child.
Okay, Sneako.
It's only within. Let me answer. It's only within the updated morality that you're following that now these simple things of biology that we've all understood throughout human existence.
Oh my
now
God.
it's changed.
It's like every NPC talking point. Are you gonna roll climb?
Yes, like Dusty said, like this is the most bought NPC talking point I've ever heard in my life. No, it's not like you know it intrinsically or whatever the fuck. It's like we pull from what like history and science has taught us, and like we pull from what our parents teach us at our schools and that type of thing, and our life experiences, that type of thing. It's not some like intrinsic thing everybody knows. And what was the other thing you said?
You could tell when you look at somebody.
Oh yes. So the other thing is that like no, that's just not true. Some guys look really feminine. Like some guys look exactly like a girl. And vice versa. Some girls are built like a dude. Like it's just how it is. It's like it's just not true. It's not some like intrinsic thing that I can like sense when it's a guy and I can sense when it's a girl. No, stop. Yes, like girls used to wear super feminine stuff and guys used to wear super masculine stuff and all of that. But like that doesn't mean it's like some intrinsic thing we have to do and has to be true. Like there's stop.
Somebody is a man or somebody's a woman. It's the same thing when you can look at somebody and you know if they're an adult or they're a child.
Okay,
it's only within, let me answer. It's only within the updated morality that you're following that.
And also that's just not true. There's a lot of like 17 and 18. Okay, there we go. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, chat. I guess it just like kicked me out. Question marks. But we're gonna try to finish this up here. I'll probably have to edit those together. But you know, it is what it is.
Illustrate a point. It's not something you use in substitution of an actual answer. You don't have an answer and all you have are analogies or metaphors. It means you don't understand what you're talking about. And you're just trying to preach to the audience on some hot button issues or whatever.
Nobody's preaching. These things have all been understood forever, and then now they're becoming complicated because we have updated morality.
Yeah, because people have different interpretations of things all the time. Why do you think there's a Sunni-Shia divide in Islam? Why do you think that there are differences in theocratic rule or law or regulations amongst even different Sunni states that all ostensibly agree on the same religion? Like even
Those
Islam
are small
has
differences, but that's not worth focusing on the small differences of these different sects of religion. Where like now, if in the West we have your point of view, like the blue hair, whatever. I don't believe in anything. We don't even know what's a man and what's a woman. Those are biological, visual differences. You're telling me that I don't know based on my eyes what the truth is.
That's great.
Talking about
Listen,
the differences of sex of
yeah,
religion.
that's
you cannot
great.
compare that.
Yeah, and I know, and I understand that in your life, like trans issues are like the most important fucking thing in the world to talk about. That's fine. You might not be able to know the difference between a man and a woman in the West or whatever. But depending on how things continue to go in the Middle East, you might not know the difference between a thriving nation state and a nuclear waste pile if these people all start nuking each other. How can you say that the differences over there are minor when two Islamic states?
Oh, I mean, you know, depending on who you ask, the differences are, you know, minor. I'm sorry, that was bad. That was bad. No, but like, yeah, like, how can you say the differences are like super minor over in the East when that's just not true? You have like 2 to 3 countries that are fucking nuking each other right now. They're committing actual war crimes against each other. Like, that's just not true. And then like over here, people keep pulling the card that like, well, the U.S. is going to shit and blah blah blah, but that's not true. Most of our issues are fairly minor. Like, gender issues generally aren't nearly as big of a deal as people make them out to be. A lot of people just like to be really difficult for no reason. I mean, there is debate to be had on certain things, but like a lot of times it's people being obtuse for no reason. But on top of that, yeah, like Sneako's point just makes no sense. Like, how can you say the things in Israel and stuff are minor? Like, that's just not true.
States, fucking Iran and Saudi Arabia are literally like firing missiles and shit at each other historically. Like, how can you say the differences are minor there and then focus on trans people in the United States and make it like 0.1% of the population?
I'm not focusing on this. I'm talking about his point of view of changing what we know, changing simple truths. Of changing simple truths. Like, you keep just talking.
Like, I'm sorry, it's just wild. Like, again, like XQC, like, you have to update your thinking. You can't just like think this exact same way that you've always thought or whatever. Like, that's just so wild, bro. You simply can't. Like, I'm sorry, like, you can't have the same moral and ethics as they did like 200 fucking years ago. That's just like, I'm sorry, that just doesn't work.
Say that I'm making talking points about talking about climate change, and then you bring in Iran and Saudi Arabia. Like, does anyone else hear this?
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me speak a little bit slower, okay? Maybe you're not following anymore, okay? You seem to make the claim that things are changing in the West, and they're not as good as your static, unchanging holy book. And what I'm saying is multiple countries that all ostensibly are theocratic regimes that are following a religion all seem to have pretty interpretations of parts of that book.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. That's the problem basing it all on the religion, is almost everybody that you ask has a completely different interpretation of that book. And I mean, that happens with normal stories too, where like, there's a lot of people that have different interpretations of like Lord of the Rings or like animes or whatever. A new story, everybody that you tell it to is going to have a different interpretation and different things that they took from that. It's not that everybody's gonna have the exact same take. That's just not true. So basing it all on that story in that book is very stupid, because you're gonna have a very different interpretation than somebody else that read it, right? Especially with how vague some of those books are.
And are even like warring with each other, like trying to blow each other up. So the idea that change leads to bad things, but Islam, this one religion, is just like.
And yes, like saying the Islam countries' issues are minor is just not true. They're literally at war, trying to nuke each other and like commit war crimes and genocides and shit on each other. Like, that's just wild to say. That's just insane. that's wild.
Crazy, good, amazing
You made
thing.
the same dumb argument earlier. You cannot equate politics and a government to a book.
You got it, bro. What are you talking about when you say you can't equate politics and Islam, Sneako? Do you know how fucking retarded that state? What do you think a theocracy is?
You cannot equate the way that men make mistakes within government and politics to a holy book that's perfect. The same reason that XQC brings up me gambling at Red Rock and says, "Oh, look, you're not a perfect person."
Bro, that's just fucking wild. You can't. Okay. So you can't equate, or you can't say that those don't equate, because those countries are literally based on the same book you're following, and they're having these major disagreements where they're literally fucking blowing each other up. So you can't sit here and say that, like, they're not, they don't equate to each other at all. That doesn't make fucking sense, because they're pulling from the exact same book that you claim you are, right?
Nobody is ever assuming that a person can be perfect. We make mistakes and we make sins, but we need to have a perfect conception of morality. And there's only one thing that we can go to, and that's the word of God.
Yeah, but people don't even agree on what that word is. They don't even agree on in Islam what that even means. And I don't know why you keep trying to separate the politics.
So that's the other thing, is that, like, almost every religion has, like, 10 or 20 fucking subgenres of that religion, right? So, and most of them don't even agree on the basics of that religion. So how can you say that, like, like, the mistakes of man or whatever are so different from, like, what God says and this, that, and the third? Because, like, those subgenres of that religion can't even fucking agree on the basics of it. So that just doesn't make sense.
Takes from the religion when Islam is a political religion.
Yes, man. The difference is...
Why do you keep calling me...
Also, that's also true. That, like, Islam is one of the ones that's a very clearly a political religion, so that just doesn't make sense.
Sped when you don't understand the foundational aspects
because
of what you believe in.
On minor differences. The reason that I bring up the issue of people not knowing the genders or him not censoring the word community is because people are lying about obvious truths.
Oh, okay. So things like different interpretations of how your Islamic government, theocratic government looks, that's a minor difference, but whether or not you call people or whether or not you acknowledge trans people, those are huge differences in society. Seriously?
Right, so that's the other thing, is that, like, saying that those are, that, like, whether or not you say a slur is a major difference, and then, like, Islam and these other Israel and these other Islamic countries, like, trying to blow each other up that is a minor issue is fucking insane. Say those countries have minor issues, and, like, whether or not you say a slur is a major issue is fucking wild. Like, that's so insane. Like, that's such a crazy fucking take.
Theological differences that separates the sects of religion is different than people not even knowing what they're looking at and saying, I have no idea what this
Sneako, you don't even know what the age of consent could be. I don't know how the you can criticize somebody else for not knowing some other basic fact of the world. None of us have a problem saying 16, 17, 18, whatever years old.
You said that I was trying to get a gotcha earlier, and then this is exactly what you're trying to do here. You want to get the clip with this question.
I'm not getting a clip or a gotcha. I'm pointing out that, Sneako, your Western poison brain is like, you know what? Fucking 9-year-olds is probably not good. Yeah, it probably should be a lot higher than that.
No, that's absolutely not what I said. But you said I was trying to do a setup, and that's why you're defending your Twitch partner over here.
My Twitch partner, yes.
I'm sorry. Calling XQC's Twitch partner is wild. Like, Destiny obviously doesn't care about Twitch. Like, he's been banned from Twitch for fucking forever, right? So it just doesn't make sense. But on top of that, him saying that, like, Destiny citing him up for a gotcha just isn't true. He's just following the same line of argument that Sneako was using, but Sneako's so fucking retarded that he can't, like, piece it together. yeah, like Siko's line of thinking just doesn't make sense. And like what he's accusing Destiny of right now just isn't true. Again, the whole point of Siko coming in here was he thought that XQC was retarded. Like he doesn't respect XQC whatsoever. So he's just trying to get a gotcha here.
This Twitch is so important to me. The platform I'm banned on right now. Yeah, keep
'cause you're
coping, dude. Keep coping. Nobody can really believe different things than me unless they're bought and paid for by somebody else. Mr. Griff's to a fucking audience of Muslims that doesn't know who Muhammad was? Okay, dude.
Absolutely not. I have mostly Christians and atheists that watch my streams, but they like that I have some sort of actual morale. I don't just change, and I don't think that there's a million genders, and I can't even agree about specific truths.
Have some sort of actual morality? What, that's lasted for what, 16 months, 17 months? Okay, leaf in the wind.
Sure. Great. I came in here and I was talking to you, and you said I was trying to get a gotcha question, but the truth is, like, even the world can't agree about the age of consent. So you trying to pin that on me is stupid.
The world has a pretty rough range. It's like between like 16 and 18, Sneako.
Actually, no, it doesn't. It's some places it's 13. It's some places in Africa they don't.
I'm sorry, but like some bumfuck village in Africa having an age of consent of 13 or whatever doesn't matter. Like, I'm sorry, you're just reaching so hard to try to defend the retarded point you've been defending for however long now. That just doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sorry, that's just wild to me. But yeah, like most everything agrees that it's like 16 to 18, which is only a couple year difference. Like, I'm sorry, like it's not like there's some like crazy range of age of consent. Generally, it's 16 to 18.
I don't have one.
Oh, really? What kind of places? What kind of places is that age of consent a lot lower?
I don't want to tell you because you're going to go there, but it changes all over the world.
Oh, yeah? You've probably been to more of those places than I have, but okay, Chief.
No, I haven't been to Africa.
Never?
I went to Morocco one time.
Oh, okay. Guess that doesn't count as Africa
Sneako,
now.
I feel like you would kind of do much better in these debates or whatever with Destiny if you had just like your simple things just ironed out.
Yeah, no, but I didn't. I wanted to hear and talk to you about this word and why you choose to, why you draw the line there. Like, I don't like Destiny comes in here. To
I've said it already. I said it already. It's not some belief or some whatever. It's a simple concept that some people feel a certain way in my community, right? And I don't want them to feel fucking harm and have a bad day because of some random guy that I barely know comes in and is hateful. I'm no. And it's that simple. And that's where I draw my line, bro. It doesn't do it in my book or some shit.
Great. So you draw the line there, and Jacob, I want you to hear this nonsense. Why do you draw the line at but not poor? Because calling people broke, that hurts people's feelings. So why is where you draw the line?
Okay. You need to understand it. This is just my worldview, regardless.
Why?
Even it could be.
Again, him trying to grill XQC on this is just so insane. Because like he can't even get the basics of what he believes down. So you trying to like grill him on these like super specific moral questions is fucking unhinged. Like that's just so wild to me. Yeah, like I'm sorry, but like Sneako just doesn't have any room to criticize XQC for this when he can't even answer the age of fucking consent or answer basic questions about Islam. Like, I'm sorry, that's just wild.
It could be fat, it could be ugly, it could be tall, short.
What led you to that?
It's just my world.
And XQC's whole point is that he just doesn't want like words that make people feel bad. So he doesn't like slurs, he doesn't like calling people fat and stuff because he doesn't like he doesn't like that. Like, but like when he calls like Cheezer a thug or like wishes death on Cheezer or whatever, that's him joking. He's clearly joking, right? And I believe it's even a meme in like Cheezer's community to talk about wanting Cheezer's death or whatever. Like, sure, it's fucked up, but like, I mean, if that's a meme in his community, then clearly he approves of it, right? Like, that's just crazy.
View. It's how I view the world, dude.
Why?
Because I think it's a marginalized group. Right, and I've seen like the hurt that people cause each other with that shit, and I don't want to feel that when they watch my stream. I don't want to platform that. It's that simple. I don't want them to be hurt by it, and it stops right there.
All right, Coffee Mouth is a good question. Why do you care about the marginalized group of but you don't care about the marginalized group of black people?
See, now you're using it hatefully because now you're saying F word as in like as a. Wait, what you say?
You're just going too far now, Sneako.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cause us whatever. XQC, we understood that. I said we playing COD, whatever. We won't use the word, you know. I just want to make sure we were straight on that. I didn't mean to cause this havoc, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but this is a ball game though. He literally says it about the F words, like actual. Like he's just calling them that, and he knows exactly what he's doing by doing that. That's just
okay. Fine.
Flat out hateful.
Why gays and not blacks? Why do you care about one marginalized group?
It's
right?
like,
Wait, hold on. Wait. Does XQC use racial slurs about black people? Did I miss this?
And so this is just wild because again, XQC doesn't use like slurs of other races or anything. Like he doesn't. Like that's just straight up not true. But it's not like mutually exclusive. Like just because I say I don't want like the F word in my chat, right? That doesn't mean that I don't care about people that are black or I don't care about people that are Hispanic or whatever. It's not mutually exclusive. He's just focusing on the F slur right now. It's not just like, okay, I'm making the line at gays, but like you can make fun of any other community. Like, no, that's just not what's happening.
He called him a thug.
In response to things he was saying.
Also, calling somebody a thug is not the same as straight up calling somebody a fucking slur. Like, I apologize. Like those just aren't the same thing at all. Those aren't even close. Those aren't even the same league, same universe, same multiverse. Like those just aren't even remotely close.
He didn't call him a thug, but it was in response to things he was saying. It wasn't in response to his skin color.
Okay, so why broke? Why these other? Why say kill cheeser? Why like saying kill cheeser? That's hateful. Saying you want to hurt somebody, murder him. That's pretty hateful.
That is a meme that he has seen. His community does that. They say that it's something that they agree on. And if he was as discomfort with that particular meme or joke, he would have told me so. You understand how that works?
Right, just like how in Aiden community and Cuffham community saying it is a meme as well.
I think there's a general understanding.
So those, Jesus Christ, Sneako, why are you like this? So those just aren't the same thing. Like those just aren't at all. Those aren't even like comparable at all. Calling him a thug or like saying you want him to die or whatever just aren't on the same level as literally calling somebody a slur. Like that's just straight up not true. And then saying it's a meme in his video too, not really. I mean, it's kids that are thinking they're edgy saying a slur. Like it's not really a meme, it's just kids being cringy. Like, like those just aren't the same thing.
Right? That I thought was ironed out when I said yo, and a bunch of times I thought they knew that hey yo, it is maybe like above and beyond the acceptable line, and usually I think this person doesn't welcome that. Holy it takes some massive logic here.
Right, so that's the other thing, is that like his point of like when he yells out whenever they say that, like that's clearly him signaling that like that's not something he wants in his community or in his chat or whatever.
There's some crazy, oh, you have to be so smart to get that. Like you're being obtuse. Like I get it, brother. It is what it is.
I'm being obtuse. I was just
being obtuse.
Somebody use that word. I'm just asking you why.
Yes, you are being deliberately obtuse. It means
okay,
that
I'm being obtuse.
So Sneako, first of all, Sneako is 1000% just being obtuse. He's just trying to not understand it, just to act fucking stupid. Like that's literally it.
Maybe I could consider that an insult. Why is it just that word? I'm actually curious. I'm not trying to be obtuse.
It's the line that I draw, right? The same way, right?
And you're not answering the question. Why? Why are you drawing a line around?
I told you already. Marginalized group.
Also, again, at this point, Sneako is literally just saying it to try to get a reaction. Like he's just stirring the pot. This is not like him actually asking.
That I care about, and I don't want them to sit down and watch my stream and be hurt by it. That's it. Nothing else.
So why just that marginalized group?
And also races, and I try my best with like religion and.
Right. So that's the other thing, is that like it's not like mutually exclusive. It's not like just, again, like the example I used earlier, just because like I say I don't want the F slur in my chat doesn't mean I don't care about black people, or I don't care about Hispanic people, or I don't care about Asian people or whatever, right? It's not like I draw the line to this group, so I don't care about any of the other ones. Like that's just crazy.
other shit. I try. These are my world that I chose. It's where I draw the line. You don't have to agree with it, right? You don't have to. It's not up to a debate. Like, nothing you can say will say, oh yeah, then you know what? You're right. Guys, say the F word. I'm not gonna do that. Like, it's not gonna. Who are you trying to convince here, brother? Because of your book? Because of your book? I don't read books.
I'm sorry. XQC with the I don't read books. Such an alpha male. An absolute sigma male. Look at this fucking Chad. I don't read books. As you shouldn't, my good sir. As you shouldn't.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no. I get what you saying on your community, XQC, and yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that was the main point, was what happened in the car lobby. I understand you said you don't want that word to be heard around your community, so I understand that. You know what I'm saying. I respect that, and that's just what it is, bro.
Well, I respect that you respect that, and that actually means a lot more than you think of it.
Yeah, so we got a good understanding, because I like playing. I like playing car lobbies. We got like a little car lobby going on me, train. You know, your friends, my friends. You know, it's fire. You know, I don't want to end it. So, you know what I'm saying. We straight.
Fat W. I don't want to the sort of get sour when you mean you past that point because if Sneako was here and muddying the waters with his dumb narrative. The brother cannot have two brain cells rub together to get a fucking full sentence or cohesive thought. Dumb fuck.
Yeah,
Well, me?
Honestly, mad respect to Cheezer for like coming around and being like, well, you know, I wasn't trying to like stir the pot or anything. I get it, you know, I still want to play Call of Duty with you, so whenever, you know, y'all are playing with us, I won't say the word or whatever. Like, that's really mature of him, so I'm mad respect for him for doing that. Sneako was clearly like trying to stir the pot and trying to be as like overly edgy / controversial as possible.
Bro is like my brother Sneako is his brain is sparking, trying to come up with like a reasonable like
it's sparking because I can't hear you saying tug or thug. I can't even understand what's coming out.
Oh my god, here it comes.
You stumble and mumble over your words. It's hard to comprehend.
Like, I'm sorry, and then like trying to make fun of XQC for his like voice disability is just insane. That's wild to me. Hold on.